به نام خدا، من رضا صالحی، رئیس شورای معیشت پایدار عشایر کوچرو ایل ابوالحسنی منطقه حفاظت شده توران و نماینده اتحادیه عشایر کوچنده ایران، آنچه را ما در اثر خشکسالی‌های پی در پی آموختیم برای شما بیان می‌کنیم و خواهرم غنیمت اژدری از ایل قشقایی مطالب و موارد را برای شما ترجمه به زبان خودتان میگوید.
I am Reza Salehi, Chief of the Council of Elders of Abholassani Indigenous Nomadic Tribal Confederacy in Turan Protected Area Complex. I also represent the Council of Elders of UniNomad, the Federation of Indigenous Nomadic Tribes of Iran. We prepared this presentation to let you know about what we are learning about conservation, livelihoods, and coping with climate change. My sister Ghanimat from the Qashqai Tribal Confederacy will tell you our story. My people live and migrate seasonally in the central desert of Turan, one of the 9 UNESCO biosphere reserves in Iran. Our ancestral domain covers about 74,000 hectares within the reserve. This is an extreme dryland ecosystem with only 150 millimeters of rainfall per normal year. Vegetation is sparse but strong, and our territory includes remarkable animal and plant diversity. With over 800 species of plants, 20% of which exist only there. We live in harmony with the wildlife of Turan, the endangered Asiatic cheetah, the Asiatic wild ass, Iranian leopard, Hubarra bustard, and gazelles, and many others. Wildlife is sacred to us. Our elders say that their presence brings blessing to our land. This is why we rarely hunt them. Wildlife live on the same pasture that feed our domestic animals and drink at the same watering points. The land where we live, which for many of you may look harsh and inhospitable, is a land we love. It has provided us for centuries with our livelihoods, our peace of mind, our culture and spiritual needs, and our joy of living. This has been true whenever we have been allowed to migrate seasonally with our animals, as we like to do. As all of you ecologists understand well, a migratory lifestyle is the only one that can sustain people in a dryland environment. In the last decade or two, however, our skills at adaptation have been stressed nearly beyond our capacity to cope. Like so many peoples throughout the world, disastrous change has affected our climate. We were hit by droughts of increased frequency and severity. Our recent poetry and lore mention entire villages abandoning their land. But we did pull ourselves together, and we managed even to cope with these droughts. We started by reflecting together in our traditional tribal institutions. and we found ways to strengthen ourselves and cope with change. With some help from the government, we restored our ancient water channels called canals and our traditional water storage systems. We also reinstituted a pastoralist tradition called hanar. This means taking the animals to water only every 2 days instead of every day during the autumn and winter. Instead of depending only on rain-fed wheat and barley, as we were doing in the past, we use irrigate crops and use the leftovers as supplementary feeding for our animals. This reduces grazing pressure on the natural rangelands. We have also reintroduced drought-resistant indigenous breeds of animals and new crops: pistachio, cotton, watermelon, sunflower, and feed barley. We sell part of their harvest and we use the residues for animal feeding. This fodder availability is carefully timed to relieve grazing pressure on the rangelands, helping in the recovery of natural plant cover and wildlife. We have garden vegetables and fruits, which is an innovation, and our nutrition and health have improved. One of the crucial elements of our strategy is the mutual aid and solidarity among tribes. For instance, we share rangelands when droughts affect severely any one of us. We have a livelihoods fund for our tribe, which we call Sanduq, that ensures collective ownership of our resources and initiatives. Women have their own committee with a role in decision making and in charge of the tribe's participatory geographic information system and video products. With credit from the Sanduq, the women engage in handicraft, dairy production, and the sustainable use of plants from our forests and rangelands. We like our way of living, and we have managed to maintain it by adapting to the changing circumstances. A sign of our resilience is that despite the worsened droughts, the number of us who live on the land as migratory herders has remained stable. Today, like centuries ago, we are still about 850 individuals. What is the moral of our story? First and foremost, the ideas that allowed us to adopt are our own. We developed and put in practice our adaptation strategy ourselves. And why could we do that? Because our traditional governance institutions is again empowered to take decisions for our tribes. When Iran was under the Shah about 40 years ago, our ancestral territory was nationalized, and we were deprived of tribal governance powers. Today, each major decision that affects us all and our environment is again discussed and approved in the Council of Elders, where each one of our 12 tribes is represented by 2 trusted community elders. The Council knows the environment and the people very well, and we are the first to pay the price or enjoy the benefits. of our own decisions. Today, our rangelands are maintained and regenerated via the millions of seeds distributed by our animals. Our forests are used but not abused. As we never stopped observing wildlife, we know that wildlife is managing to resist the droughts as we do. And we like to think that this is because our new livelihoods strategy is good for them as well. We believe our internal solidarity and unity, our solidarity with other tribes, and our capacity to govern our territory is what makes us strong and make life worth living. We believe that true food security can only be achieved via food sovereignty. Many other Iranian tribes are getting organized in our national federation. Like us, indigenous peoples and local communities throughout the world are ready, capable, and eager to govern their land and natural resources for the conservation of nature and for their own livelihoods and food sovereignty. We hope this Congress will recognize community governance and community collective rights and responsibilities for the conservation of nature as crucial for the future of our planet. Please help us if you can. Thank you.